right, let's do this. Good morning. It's my pleasure to call this meeting of the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality to order. It's September 5th, 2018. The time is 9:30. With us today are Commissioner Emily Lindley and Miss Elaine Lucas for the General Counsel's Office. And before we begin, I'll note that the dais, again, looks a little different than it did at our last meeting. As many of you know, Dr. Shaw retired after 11 years with the agency, including 9 years as its chairman. And I want to thank Dr. Shaw for his leadership and also say that I have admired his commitment to public service, his thoughtfulness, his kindness and good humor, his scientific expertise, and his pragmatism, all of which he's brought to bear in protecting public health and the environment in Texas. I'd also like to thank Governor Abbott for the confidence that he's shown in me as a commissioner and now as the chairman of TCEQ. It is a true privilege to work for the people of Texas, and it's a special privilege to work alongside the talented men and women who form this great agency. So with those observations in the record, Commissioner Lindley, are we ready to begin?
We are. I would just like to also say congratulations to you. They are big shoes to fill, but I too have full confidence and know you will lead this agency down the path we need to go.
Thank you. And they're boots, by the way.
Excuse me. Thank you for
Yes.
that correction. For the record, they are boots, yes.
Ms. Lucas?
Item number 1 is the Senate Bill 709, House Bill 801 hearing request regarding the application by Gulf Coast Ammonia LLC for new TPDES permit number WQ00052350000 to authorize the discharge of utility wastewater and stormwater. The parties have been notified that the Commission will not take oral argument on this matter but may ask questions. We do have several individuals signed in that are available if there are questions. And I'll just read their names for the record.
Sure.
Rachel Komsky for Gulf Coast Ammonia, Ryan Nichols with Baker Botts, Amy Din with representing Roy Cannon, and Brian French representing Roy Lee Cannon, and they're available for any questions.
Great, thank you. So hearing requests such as Mr. Cannon's present really a two-part inquiry. First, whether the requester is an affected person, and if so, which, if any, of the issues that were raised present a fact issue that's material and relevant to the application. So Commissioner Lindley, my view is that Mr. Cannon is a commercial fisherman who relies on the lower Galveston Bay for his livelihood and is therefore has a personal justiciable interest distinct from the general public and is therefore an affected person. Agreed?
Agreed, yes.
Okay, and as to the issues Mr. Cannon has raised, I propose that we refer the following. Whether the application conforms to the anti-degradation requirements, and second, whether the draft permit is protective of aquatic life in accordance with the Texas surface water quality standards, including but not limited to parameters for phosphorus, nitrogen, pH, temperature, and salinity. And I propose that we not refer the issue concerning the designation of the receiving waters as between primary contact recreation 1 or primary contact recreation 2, because the last approved EPA standards don't distinguish between the two. And nor would I refer the adequacy of the means of the effluent measurement, which is really about design criteria. That's the subject of our rules, but not presented within the scope of this authorization.
I would agree.
Okay, and what do you think about hearing duration?
I would say a hearing duration of 180 days from the date of the preliminary hearing, and I can
I'll
do a
entertain
motion if you would like.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would find that Roy Lee Cannon is an affected person, that we should propose that we should refer the application to SOA for a contested case hearing on the following issues: whether the application complies with the anti-degradation requirements of the applicable Texas statutes and commission rules, as well as the applicable provisions of the Federal Clean Water Act and associated federal regulations, whether the draft permit is protective of aquatic life in accordance with the applicable Texas Service water quality standards and the parameters that you mentioned, and then set the hearing duration of 180 days from the date of the preliminary hearing until the date of the proposal for decision is issued.
The motion has been made. I second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item number 2 is the consideration of the adoption of the renewal with amendments of General Permit TXG 830000, authorizing the discharge of water contaminated with petroleum substances. Executive Director's staff is here to present this matter.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners, General Counsel, Public Interest Counsel. On behalf of the Executive Director, I'm Laurie Fleet with the Water Quality Division. With me today is Chris Linendahl, also of the Water Quality Division, and Hollis Henley from the Environmental Law Division. Staff requests adoption of a renewal with amendment of TPDES General Permit number TXG 830000, which authorizes the discharge of water contaminated by petroleum substances into or adjacent to water in the state. The renewal with amendment will replace the current permit when it expires on September 12, 2018. Public notice of the draft permit was published in the Houston Chronicle, the Dallas Morning News, the Corpus Christi Caller-Times, and the Texas Register on February 9, 2018. The public comment period ended on March 12, 2018, and no public comments were received. Staff recommends adoption of this general permit. Additionally, staff requests authorization to make non-substantive changes to comply with Texas Register requirements. Thank you. We're available for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions?
I don't have any today.
Mr. McWhorter?
OPIC recommends adoption of the renewal with amendment of the general permit as presented by the Executive Director.
Thank you. I think it's appropriate that we move forward with adoption, and if there are no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion.
I propose that we adopt the renewal with amendments of General Permit TXG 830000 as recommended by the Executive Director.
The motion has been made. I second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item number 3 is the discussion of the Office of Public Interest Counsel's annual report, and Vic McWhorter with the Office of Public Interest Counsel is here to present the report.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners, General Counsel. As you know, Texas Water Code Section 5.2725 asks OPIC to report to you annually concerning our performance, our budget needs, and recommendations we have for statutory and regulatory changes. The written report submitted to you in item 3 of your backup materials today is intended to satisfy that statutory directive. The first part of the report lays out OPIC's performance measures as previously adopted by the Commission in 2012 and goes on to evaluate our fiscal year 2018 performance related to those measures concerning environmental matters, including permitting, district matters, rulemaking, and enforcement. And with respect to that part of the report, as you guys may recall, I always like to point out performance measures must be quantifiable and capture hard and fast numbers, so they may not always give a full feel of where we spend our efforts. We may spend our efforts a lot more in one big significant environmental permitting area than in several, say, enforcement agreed orders that are on your docket for review. So just, I like to give that flavor of the report. The next sections of the report, Section 2 talks about our budget needs and budget issues contemplated by the statute. And finally, the last part of the report, as the statute directs, contains OPIC's recommendations for legislative and regulatory changes. So with that overview, thank you for your consideration of the report. I'm available for any feedback or questions you may have.
Thank you. I think I'll start by just sharing on the record what I've shared with you privately, and that is that I really appreciate the legal analysis that your team brings to bear each week on the matters before us. I find it very helpful. Thank you also for the report and the recommendations. Appreciate it. I don't have any questions at this time.
No, I don't have any questions yet either, and we haven't gotten engaged as much as Chairman Neerman has, but I've always, respected the work y'all have done and appreciate the work y'all do, and just ask that you continue to do the good work you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. And no action is necessary on this item, so we'll move to item 4.
Items 4 through 7 are the consideration of fiscal year 2019 proposed assessment for annual costs of operations of the Concho River Watermaster Program, the Rio Grande Water Division, the South Texas Water Division, and the Brazos Watermaster Program. Executive Director's staff is here to present these items.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners, or Commissioner, General Counsel, and Public Interest Counsel. For the record, my name is Amy Sedemeyer, and I'm the Watermaster Section Manager within the Water Availability Division. With me today is Dean Yatadama with the Environmental Law Division. Staff is here to request the approval of the fiscal year 2019 assessments for the 4 Watermaster areas, the Concho River, the South Texas, the Rio Grande, and the Brazos Watermaster programs. We have prepared the budgets and assessments necessary to cover costs of the Watermaster programs and have provided the information to the Watermaster Advisory Committees in all 4 areas. The budgets and assessment breakdowns were reviewed by the Watermaster Advisory Committees, and Brazos and Rio Grande approved the calculations as proposed. South Texas and Concho River Watermaster Advisory Committees raised no concerns about the proposed budgets. However, neither committee had a quorum to vote. The assessments before you are based on the proposed budgets. As required by statute, we mailed 2 public notices to every affected water right holder to encourage participation in the Watermaster Advisory Committee meetings, as well as in today's agenda meeting. In addition, staff has discussed this matter with the TCEQ's Chief Financial Office staff, as well as budget and planning staff. Thank you, and we're available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any questions?
No?
Mr. McWhirter.
OPIC recommends approval of the fiscal year 2019 assessments for annual cost of operations for these Watermaster programs as recommended by the Executive Director.
Thank you. Because we're talking about such small rate changes, and the Watermaster Advisory Committees have either recommended or their members recommended that we adopt the budgets, I think it's appropriate that we adopt the budgets and issue the assessments.
I would agree. I know staff spends a great deal of time scrutinizing these programs and the numbers, and the public does as well, so I feel comfortable supporting the budgets, and I'm ready to file a motion. if you
I'll
would like.
entertain a motion.
I ask that we approve the Concho River, Rio Grande, South Texas, and Brazos Watermaster budgets for fiscal year 2019, and issue the Executive Director's 4 proposed orders assessing the annual costs of those Watermaster programs.
The motion has been made. I second it. All those in favor?
Approved.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
That takes us to items 8 through 31, which is the Commission's enforcement docket. Executive Director's staff is here to present these matters, and I would also note that we have 2 individuals registered who do not wish to address the Commission but are available for questions. That's Ed McCarthy, representing DHJB on item 11, and Tricia Jackson, representing EAS Oil on item number 16. And we also have Laura Warren, representing Abraxas Corporation on item number 15, who would like to speak.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners, General Counsel, and Public Interest Counsel. For the record, my name is Janice Hernandez, and I am the Agenda Coordinator for the Litigation Division. With me today are Gitanjali Yadav, also of the Litigation Division, and Melissa Cordell and Sandy Van Cleve of the Enforcement Division. Representing the Executive Director, pending before you are items 8 through 31. The total assessed administrative penalties are $244,340, with $13,217 deferred, $28,197 applied towards supplemental environmental projects, and $202,926 to the general revenue. The Executive Director respectfully requests approval of these items, and we're available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Do you have any questions at this time?
No, sir.
Ms. Warren for Abraxas Corporation.
Good morning,
Good
Commissioners,
morning.
Directors. I'm Laura Warren for Abraxas Corporation, and at this time I would like to ask the court to please not go forward with the Enforcement Act and to please allow the TCEQ to grant me a contested hearing. It was not my intention to throw this off and think it was nothing. I misunderstood the Small Business Administration and as to how the procedures are done. I'm available for any questions if you have any.
Give me just a moment to,
Thank you, sir.
well, let me ask you this, Ms. Warren. Did you sign an agreed order in this matter?
No, I did not. I thought if I did and knew I couldn't pay it, I'd be in more trouble.
Oh, forgive me, I was confusing this with another matter. Give me just a moment to
That's okay.
catch up on this one. I'd like to ask Executive Director staff for their thoughts on this matter, including whether an answer has been filed.
Good morning. My name is Geethanjali Yadav with the Litigation Division. Executive Director staff make many efforts to reach out to respondents throughout the enforcement process to try to explain the underlying violations, to explain how to return to compliance, and to try to achieve settlement of the matter. But if settlement can't be achieved, they also make clear that the respondent has a right to a contested case hearing and the timeframes in which a request needs to be made. And that was certainly followed in this case, both in the Enforcement Division and in the Litigation Division. In this case, on April 7, 2017, the Enforcement Coordinator called and left a message for Ms. Warren regarding the enforcement case. The call was not returned. On April 13, 2017, the Enforcement Coordinator called and spoke with Ms. Warren regarding the enforcement case and compliance issues. On June 28, 2017, the Enforcement Coordinator sent the proposed agreed order to respondent. On July 12, 2017, the Enforcement Coordinator called and left a message for Ms. Warren regarding settlement. On August 23, 2017, the Enforcement Coordinator again called and left a message for Ms. Warren regarding settlement. On September 27, 2017, notice of the settlement withdrawal was sent to the respondent, and the case was referred to the Litigation Division. On April 25, 2018, the petition was filed. A green card was signed in the matter on May 1, 2018, indicating the respondent received notice of the petition. On May 8, 2018, the attorney called Ms. Warren, left a voice message regarding the recently filed petition, that the respondent would need to file an answer to the petition, sign an agreed order, or risk default if no action was taken on her part. He also provided the OPIC office number if she had any questions regarding legal aspects of dealing with TCEQ. No call was returned. On June 8, 2018, the attorney mailed the litigation proposed agreed order to the respondent, and on that same day, he called and left a voice message regarding the recently filed petition, and that respondent would need to file an answer to the petition, sign the mailed agreed order, or risk default if no action was taken on her part, and no call was returned. On June 8, 2018, the 10-day letter with the default order was mailed, and this is a letter that we send out giving them 10 more days to file an answer to prevent a default order from being issued. On August 24, 2018, the attorney received a voicemail from Ms. Warren, and he returned the call and left a message later that day. Yesterday, the respondent called to ask about a default order, and we told her we'd be presenting the default order today at the agenda and that she could attend the agenda since it's a public meeting. We also received an answer from her yesterday in late afternoon. I'd also like to note that when the attorney first got the case right after filing the petition, he was concerned with the violations in the case and the lack of compliance on the respondent's part. So he contacted Small Business Local Government Assistance to see if they could provide her with assistance with returning to compliance, and I believe they did do that. However, we checked yesterday, and as of yesterday, the respondent has not returned to compliance with any of the violations in the case.
Thank you for that. Ms. Warren, I'll give you an opportunity to respond to what you've heard.
I don't remember some of the phone calls, but I am working on returning to compliance. I've been working with Small Business Administration. I've been working with my engineer / consultant to get the treatment plant back into compliance.
Well, I appreciate that. Commissioner Lindley, do you have any thoughts you want to share at this point? Ms.
I've been
Warren,
working with Ms. Cochran.
I appreciate that, ma'am, and it is very important that you come back into compliance regarding the enforcement matter that's before us. It sounds to me like you've had really ample opportunity to answer this enforcement action, and we're just not in a position to make exceptions for regulated entities that have let the process drag out this far. And you know, a late filed answer is you know, in this case, very, very late, and we're just not able to accommodate it.
I
So,
understand.
Commissioner Lindley, I'm going to
May I state that it
suggest
really
that we
wasn't intentional,
approve the
sir?
default order. Excuse me, ma'am?
I went through 2 deaths in the family, and I thought I had my head together, and I didn't. I lost both my parents, so I'm totally in control of the whole system. And I truly apologize. It was never meant to slack off.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. You have my sympathies, and we're here. We're ready to work with you to help you bring you back into compliance. So, you know, please let us know what we can do to help get you
I
there.
want to get there fast as possible. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for being here.
Mhm.
Okay. Mr. McWhirter.
Yes, I am sympathetic to the issues that Ms. Warren raised. However, I also defer to all of the actions the executive director did to reach out, and I think all the record is clear that all the requirements for taking a default order have been satisfied, and I support the issuance of a default order here.
Thank you. Anything else, Commissioner Lindley?
No. You want me to do a motion? You ready?
I'll entertain a motion. Thank you.
I would say that we adopt items 8 through 31 as recommended today by the executive director.
The motion has been made. I second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 32 is the consideration for publication of and hearing on the proposed Houston-Galveston Brazoria redesignation request and maintenance plan state implementation plan revision for 1 hour and 1997 8-hour ozone national ambient air quality standards. And Executive Director's staff is here to present this item.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, Commissioners, General Counsel, and Public Interest Counsel. I'm Lola Brown with the Air Quality Division. With me today is John Minter of the Environmental Law Division. Additional staff are also available to answer questions as needed. For your consideration today is item 32, the Executive Director's recommended Houston-Galveston Brazoria redesignation request and maintenance plan, SIP revision for the 1 hour and the 1997 8-hour ozone national ambient air quality standards. This SIP revision would include a request that the EPA redesignate the HGB area to attainment for the 1 hour and the 1997 8-hour ozone standards, and would provide a maintenance plan that will ensure the area continues to meet those standards through 2032. This SIP revision would also include a contingency plan and would establish motor vehicle emission budgets for the 2032 horizon year. Staff respectfully request permission to publish the proposed SIP revision, solicit public comments, and hold a public hearing. Thank you for your consideration, and we're available for any additional questions.
Thank you. Any questions?
Not this time.
Mr. McWhorter?
OPIC supports approval for publication and hearing on the proposed redesignation request and maintenance plan SIP revisions so the commission may receive public comment on the proposal.
Following the South Coast decision, I think it's important that we take steps to reestablish certainty around the status of the Houston-Galveston-Brazoria airshed. So I would support this proposal. Before we vote, I would like to say, though, that this reminder of the great work that we've done in that airshed. We've made tremendous progress. We still have some work to do, but although it's not news, it's still something to celebrate. So thanks to staff for putting this together. Any comments?
No, I completely agree with everything you said.
I'll entertain a motion.
Great. I'd say that we approve for publication and hearing the proposed Houston-Galveston-Brazoria redesignation request and maintenance plan, state implementation plan revision for the 1 hour and 1997 8-hour ozone national ambient air quality standards as recommended by the executive director.
The motion has been made. I second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 33 is the Commission's public comment session. At this time, we do not have anyone signed in to speak. So I would recommend that we move on. And actually, that does take us to the end of our open session posted items, and the Commission will not meet in closed session today.
With that, the time is 9:55, and we are adjourned.